What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the shop. We got this Chevy small block 350 here. We're going to get into this. I'll give you a little history on this. I built a truck about 7 years ago, and I parted out 3 or 4 trucks to help fund the project. I would find a truck sitting, I would go yard shopping. I'd go driving through an old neighborhood. I see a Chevy truck sitting there, dirty looking, got some nice stuff on it. They ain't using it. Oh, look, the tags are expired. Knock, knock. Hey, I'll give you $500 for that truck. Things like that. So I ended up buying several trucks, pulling parts off that I wanted, selling off other parts, scrapping metal. So it helped fund my project and keep the budget low. Now the first thing we're going to do is check the casting numbers, but one more thing I want to tell you about this engine. The reason why I decided to keep this engine is because it's got a performance cam in it and roller rockers. It was a healthy sounding engine, and I just like this engine. So I put it on the engine stand. I had it all wrapped up. And so first we're going to check the casting numbers over here. We'll see what this engine came out of originally. And then we're going to, the first thing you want to do whenever I'm working on an engine, I want to know, is the compression good? Are the rings good? Is the valve train good? Do we have good compression? There's several things you want to have in an engine. First of all, you want to have good compression, you want to have fuel flow, and you want to have ignition. You got those 3 things, you're probably doing pretty good. So let's get into this. We'll check the casting numbers first, see what this engine came out of, and then after that, we're going to put some oil in this engine, because when I cleaned the block, I drained the old oil. So we're going to put oil back into it, and we're going to put a flex plate on here and a starter, and we're going to hook up the compression tester. We're going to turn this thing over and check the compression and see if we got nice even compression across both sides, and if that's good, that may determine how deep I actually get into this. You know, I'm not going to tear this whole engine apart. If I've got good compression, I'm going to just call it pretty much good right there. Paint it up, make it look pretty, change the rear main seal, just do some basic stuff to get it ready to go into the truck. I'm kind of hoping that the compression is good and I don't have to rip this thing apart, even though that might make for a shorter series of videos, because now I'm not pulling the heads and the valve train and showing you all that kind of stuff. But we may get some other parts in here just to talk about it a little bit as we go through this. But thank you for tuning in. Please like, subscribe, and let's do this. Alright, so the casting numbers are going to be found right here on the rear corner of the block, the driver's side rear corner of the block right here. I'm going to grab another camera and get an angle on this so you can see it, and then we'll run the numbers and we'll tell you what this engine came out of originally. Okay, so here we see the casting numbers on the rear corner of the block on the driver's side. The casting number for this block is 140-10207. We'll run those numbers and see what this engine came out of originally. So I'm just going to search Chevy casting numbers. Chevy casting numbers identification block casing numbers. Now I got a whole list of casting numbers here. I'm going to look for mine. There it is. Now it tells you the year. This came out of an 80 to 85 Chevy. It's a 350. It came in a car or truck with 2 or 4 bolt main, passenger stick. Okay? So this came in a car or truck with 2 or 4 bolt main with a stick shift. Manual transmission. Let's hope this is a 4 bolt main. You know we like them 4 bolt mains better, right? So we'll have to pull the oil pan to get into that and figure that out. We'll show you that later. Alright, let's get into the oil starter flex plate. Let's do a compression test. Let's go. So I'm going to put this flex plate on here just for the purpose of turning the engine over to do the compression test. Later on I'm going to have to put a flywheel because this is going into a manual transmission truck. I'll just slide this onto the hub on the rear of the crankshaft. There we go. Check my bolt alignment. Yep, right there. Put these 6 bolts in there and snug them up. So I'm holding the engine from rolling over with the sleever bar on the flex plate gear, so it doesn't rotate the engine while I'm trying to get this wrench on here. Tighten it up. Going like decent, going like that. Going like this and like that is essential. There we go. All right, flex plates in there, tightened up. Next, we're gonna put the starter on. I'm gonna rotate the engine over on its side and put the starter on, but first, let's remove the carburetor.
That was easy.
Alright, let's go ahead and get this distributor out of here. There's a hold down bolt right here. One bolt going through the intake manifold. Get you a close up. Bam! Right there. That's your boy right there. I like to use Castrol GTX 1030 weight. That's my favorite oil to use in these engines. We'll go ahead and put 5 quarts in here. I'm going to dump it right down the distributor hole. A lot of times I also like to use this Lucas heavy duty oil stabilizer. Instead of putting 5 quarts of the GTX, I'll put 4 quarts and 1 quart of this stuff. That's good stuff. So to prime the oil, I'm going to use a drill and this GM oil primer tool. It's attach this to the drill and it goes through the distributor hole. I don't know how good you can see this, but on the bottom of this tool and this distributor, it's got that same slot that goes into the top of the oil pump. It's got a little extension bar that comes up. When the distributor is plugged in while the cam is rotating, the cam rotates the distributor, which also, that slot rotates the oil pump. So the oil pump and the distributor are running off the cam. There it goes. This is my push button to start to activate the starter. You got 2 wires on here with the starter button. Bam, bam. All right, I got the starter on here. I got the battery cables. I'm gonna hook up the battery. I got a push button for the starter. We'll kick this engine over, do a compression test right now. This is my positive battery cable right here. We'll just stick it on the battery like this. Okay. This is my negative battery cable. I'm gonna stick it on the battery like this. Okay. This is my push button to start to activate the starter. You got 2 wires on here with the starter button. Bam, bam. So we're gonna go to the positive terminal with 1, and then we'll go to the ignition switch on this side. So ignition switch on this side. Right. So one clip is connected right here. Hold on, let me get the light. There you go. You see that better now? One on the ignition side of the solenoid, and one on the power of the solenoid. And then when I push the button, I'll just push the button. Alright. Now I'm going to take the compression tester and screw it into, I'll do number 1, 3, 5, 7. Then I'll do 2, 4, 6, 8. Let's start on number 1 cylinder over here. And I'm gonna pop a hole in this just so it sucks air through more freely. Actually, you know what? I got some paper towels in there too. Let me go ahead and get these out of here. Get all this shit out of here. Let that motherfucker breathe. Let that breathe. Alright. Looks good. Alright, I'll just screw this into the number 1 cylinder. I'll just screw this into the number 1 cylinder. Put the gauge on here. And let's see what we got. £150. Alright, let's do it again. Number 3 cylinder. Ooh, that's coming in at about 115 pounds. Not looking good. Number 6. 120. Number 8. 130. Well, that's not looking good. So we've got some serious. Let me try number 3 one more time. Number 3 was the worst, coming in at 115. Let me just double check that. Yeah. Yep. Not looking good. Not what I had expected. Not what I was hoping for. Jessica! Jessica! What do I do, Jessica? I love you, Jessica. You're right. You're right, my love. You're always right. These are definitely not the numbers I was hoping to see. I was hoping to not have to pull these heads. I'm gonna have to check the oil pressure, make sure the oil pressure is right, and do another compression test. I gotta get an oil pressure gauge and hook it up, and we'll see. We'll go from there. I might end up tearing this whole damn thing apart. Ah! Alright, so after seeing the results of the compression test on this engine, I think what I need to do is get this thing hot. I need to get it running. It sat on the engine stand for like 6 years, so those lifters they're not getting the oil pressure needed to pump them up. And I believe that if I run this engine, get it hot, get the oil running through it the way it's supposed to be. And I want to mention something else that I didn't mention earlier. Before I started rotating this engine, I tilt the engine over. I put transmission fluid inside all the cylinders because they're dry, so I put some transmission oil in there to lube it up. I also squirt transmission fluid down all the push rods and all the valve train to get everything pre-lubed. I did prime the engine, as you saw, but we got to get this thing hot. We got to bring it up to pressure. We're going to put this thing on a rack out in the driveway, slap some headers on it, run some gas in the carburetor, get the distributor in here, fire this thing up, and then we'll do another compression test after that, because I don't want to strip these heads off if I don't have to, and I really don't feel like I'm going to have to. This thing was running great. I just think it needs a little TLC, so let's give it another try and see what happens. If it doesn't work out, then we may end up having to rip this thing further apart than desired. But I got a pretty good feeling that if we get this thing warmed up and the pressure temperature up, we'll get that compression back to where we want to see it, and then we can go from there. Thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next video. Like, subscribe, all that good stuff, and we'll see you soon. Alright, so that's it for right now. On the next video, we'll be removing the intake manifold, the water pump, the pulley, the harmonic balancer. We'll be looking at what kind of timing chain's in there. Pulling some heads. We got to get into this thing. Anyways, thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, follow the videos. It's going to be a lot of work. It's a lot of extra work to do the video while I'm doing this, but I want to share this with you, so hopefully you're following along, and hopefully there's something here that I want to check the oil pressure in here too. I don't see any oil coming up. Usually the push rods should send some oil up. Let me see what's up with this oil pressure, then I'll decide what to do next. But anyways, thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, and all that good stuff. We'll go through this. We're going to go through it. Well, we got some work to do, so till next time, like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff, and keep following the videos. We'll see you on the next one. Me and Jessica will be looking forward to seeing you next time. Peace!